Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today, we are talking about two words that every English learner uses from their very first week of studying the language. These words feel basic and familiar, but they are actually quite different in how they are used, and getting them wrong is one of the most common errors that learners make. Even at intermediate and upper intermediate levels, people still mix these two words up regularly.
Yes, and what makes this topic so important is that these words come up in almost every conversation about life, career, and daily activities. What do you do? Where do you work? Do you have a job? Have you finished your work? These questions are everywhere, and understanding the difference between job and work will help you answer them naturally and correctly every time.
The two words today are job and work. Let us start with the most fundamental difference between them.
Job is a countable noun. That means you can count jobs. 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. You can say a job, my job, the job, jobs. Job is a specific individual thing.
Work is an uncountable noun in its main use. You cannot count work the same way. You do not say a work or two works or the works when talking about employment and tasks. Work does not take an indefinite article in its noun form. You just say work.
So the grammar alone tells you a lot. A job makes sense. A work does not in the context of employment. I have a job makes sense. I have a work does not make sense.
Now let's go beyond the grammar and talk about the meaning. Job refers to a specific position of employment, a role that you do for money. It's the title and position itself, what you do as your occupation.
She has a job as a nurse. He applied for a job at the bank. I'm looking for a new job. The job comes with a good salary and benefits.
In all of those, job means the specific employment position, the role, the title. It's defined, specific, and individual.
Work is broader. Work refers to the activity of doing tasks that require effort, whether paid or unpaid. It also refers to the place where you do your job, or the general concept of employment. Work is the activity and the concept.
She goes to work at 8 every morning. He has a lot of work to do this week. Good work takes time. I need to work on this project.
In those examples, work is either the place of employment, the tasks and effort involved, or the general concept of productive activity.
So, job is the position, the role, the specific thing you are employed to do. Work is the activity, the effort, the concept, and sometimes the place where it all happens.
Let me give you a clear pair that shows the difference. She has a good job at a marketing firm. The job is the position. She does a lot of work every day. Work is the activity and effort involved in that job.
The job is what she has. Work is what she does. Having a job and doing work. These are the two natural combinations.
Have a job, do work. Those two phrases capture the relationship perfectly.
Now let's go deeper into job, because it has several specific uses that learners should know.
Job as a specific employment position is the most common use. I love my job. She just started a new job. He's thinking about changing jobs. The job market is very competitive. Job hunting means looking for a job.
Job is also used for a specific task or piece of work that needs to be done. That doesn't have to be related to paid employment. I have a few jobs to do around the house this weekend. The job of fixing the roof took 3 days. It was a difficult job, but we finished it.
In this sense, job means a specific task with a beginning and an end, something that needs to be done.
Job is also used in some very common expressions. A good job means it was done well, or it's a good thing. Well done, you did a good job. It's a good job you brought an umbrella because it's raining. A bad job means it was done poorly or it's unfortunate.
Do a job on something means to affect it significantly. The rain did a real job on the garden. On the job means while working or while being trained in a role. She learned everything on the job. Job done means a task is completed. Job done, we can go home now.
Now let's go deeper into work. Work as an uncountable noun refers to the effort and activity involved in doing tasks. It's general and broad. There's a lot of work to do. This will take hard work. She put a lot of work into the project.
Work also means the place of employment or the general concept of going to your place of employment. I'm going to work. She left for work early. I met him at work. After work, we usually go to the gym.
Notice in those examples, at work and after work do not have an article. You do not say at the work or after the work. Work here is a concept like home or school. I'm going home. I'm going to work. No article needed.
Work also means the output or result of effort. This is especially common in art and academic contexts. The works of Shakespeare, an exhibition of her recent work. His life's work was published after he died, a work of art. In these cases, work can take an article or be plural.
And work as a verb is completely standard and very common. I work at a hospital. She works from home. He worked on the project all night. They are working very hard.
Now let me talk about some of the most common phrases with work, because these come up constantly in everyday English.
Work hard means to put in a lot of effort. Work out means to exercise or to calculate or to result in a certain way. Things will work out means things will be resolved or turn out okay. Work on something means to spend time improving it or completing it.
Work up to something means to build toward it gradually. Work your way up means to progress from a lower to a higher position over time. Network means to build professional connections. The word network even contains work.
Hard work pays off means effort eventually brings results. Work in progress means something is not yet finished. It is still being developed. Out of work means unemployed. In work means employed.
Teamwork means working cooperatively in a group. Homework is work done at home, usually for school. Housework is domestic cleaning and maintenance work. Framework is a structure or system within which something operates.
So work appears in so many compound words and expressions in English. It's one of the most productive words in the language.
Now let me show you some tricky situations where learners commonly get confused between job and work.
Can I say I have a lot of jobs to do today?
Yes, when job means specific individual tasks, it can be plural. I have a few jobs to do. But you wouldn't say I have a lot of jobs in the sense of employment. You would say I have a lot of work to do.
What about I need a work versus I need a job?
I need a job is correct. Job is countable and takes an article. I need a work is wrong. Work does not take an article in the employment sense. You could say I need to find work or I need work, but not a work.
What about she is at a job versus she is at work?
She is at work is the natural and correct phrase. She is at a job does not sound natural. At work is the established phrase for being at your place of employment. At a job is not used in this way.
What about he does good works?
Good works, with a plural, means charitable deeds or acts of generosity. He does a lot of good works in the community. But this is a specific expression. In most everyday contexts, work is uncountable and not used in the plural.
Now let us go through the most common mistakes learners make with job and work.
Mistake number 1 is saying a work when you mean a job. I am looking for a work instead of I am looking for a job. Work does not take an indefinite article in the employment sense. The correct sentence is I am looking for a job or I am looking for work.
Mistake number 2 is using work as a countable noun in the employment sense, saying I have 2 works instead of I have 2 jobs. When talking about employment positions, count them as jobs, not as works.
Mistake number 3 is saying at the work instead of at work. I am at the work is wrong. It should be I am at work. Work, when referring to your place of employment, is used without an article.
Mistake number 4 is using job when you mean work for the activity of effort and tasks, saying, I have so much job to do today, instead of, I have so much work to do today. The tasks and effort are work, not job.
Mistake number 5 is not knowing that job can mean a specific task as well as employment, only thinking of job as a paid position and being confused when someone says, I have a few jobs to do around the house.
Mistake number 6 is saying, I go to my job in the morning instead of, I go to work in the morning. Going to work is the natural phrase for traveling to your place of employment. Going to my job is not natural in this context.
And mistake number 7 is translating directly from your native language. In many languages, one word covers both job and work. Training yourself to feel the difference between the employment position and the activity of effort is the key step.
Now let us do a practice round. I will describe a situation, and you choose job or work and explain why.
Ready.
A person is employed as a teacher at a primary school.
Job. A specific employment position. She has a job as a primary school teacher.
A student has a lot of assignments and studying to get through this week.
Work. The activity of effort and tasks. She has a lot of work to do this week.
A person is looking for employment and sending out their resume.
Job or work. Both are possible. She is looking for a job. She is looking for work. Job is slightly more specific and common in everyday speech.
A person is at their place of employment right now.
At work. The fixed phrase for being at your place of employment. She is at work.
A manager tells an employee they did really well on a presentation.
Good job. The expression meaning it was done well. You did a good job on that presentation.
A person has several household chores to complete over the weekend.
Jobs. Specific individual tasks around the house. She has a few jobs to do this weekend.
Someone asks why you cannot meet for coffee this afternoon.
Work. I have too much work this afternoon, or I am at work, the activity or the place.
A person is employed at 2 different companies at the same time.
Jobs. Countable positions of employment. She has 2 jobs.
Every answer was right. Clear and well-reasoned every time.
And I want listeners to notice the key distinction that guided every choice. Is this the specific employment position? Job. Is this the activity, the effort, the tasks, or the place of employment? Work.
Position equals job. Activity, effort, tasks, and place equals work. That distinction guides you correctly in almost every situation.
Now, let me close with something honest about this pair.
Please.
Most commonly used nouns in the English language. They come up every day in casual conversation, in professional settings, in news and media, in job applications and emails. Getting them right makes your English sound more natural and more precise.
And the good news is that the difference is not complicated once you see it. Job is the position, work is the activity and effort. One you have, the other you do.
Have a job, do work. Those 2 phrases are your anchor. Whenever you're unsure, come back to them.
And the grammar check always helps. If you can put a or one in front of it, it's probably job. If no article is needed, if you're talking about effort or tasks in general, it's probably work.
The more you notice these words in everyday English, the more natural the choice will feel. And soon you won't need to think about it at all. It will just feel right.
Thank you so much for being here today. We hope job and work feel completely clear and that you feel genuinely confident using both of them correctly in any situation.
Keep going, and we'll see you in the next episode.